Federal Judge Morrison's 19-year-old daughter said she wanted to marry Bumpy Johnson. When those words left Catherine Morrison's mouth, two worlds collided, and what happened next would either destroy them both or prove that love could survive anything. June 12, 1954. The Rainbow Room, Manhattan. At table 7 sat Federal Judge William Morrison, the man who'd sent more black criminals to prison than any judge in the city's history. Across from him sat his daughter Catherine, fresh out of Vassar College, about to shatter his world. "Daddy, I'm in love with Bumpy Johnson." Judge Morrison's fork stopped halfway to his mouth. The color drained from his face. Around them, Manhattan's elite continued their conversations, unaware that a bomb had just gone off at table 7. "What did you just say?" Morrison whispered. Catherine Morrison was beautiful, intelligent, and completely naive about the world her father lived in. She'd grown up in privilege, attended the best schools, summered in the Hamptons. She'd never seen the inside of a courtroom, but she'd seen Bumpy Johnson. 3 months earlier, Catherine had been volunteering at the Harlem Community Center, teaching literacy to underprivileged children. That's where she first saw him. Bumpy Johnson walked into that community center like he owned it, which in a way he did. He funded half the programs, paid for the books, made sure the heat worked in winter. Catherine watched this impeccably dressed black man command respect from everyone in the room, watched him kneel down to talk to children at their eye level, watched him hand a mother an envelope that made her cry with relief. "Excuse me," Catherine had said, approaching Bumpy. "I'm Catherine Morrison. I volunteer here." Bumpy looked at her carefully. Young white woman in a Harlem community center, either lost or looking for trouble. "Nice to meet you, Miss Morrison," Bumpy replied politely. "I know who you are. Everyone here speaks about you with such respect." What Catherine didn't know was that her last name had already told Bumpy everything he needed to know. Morrison, Federal Judge William Morrison, the man who'd been trying to put Bumpy away for 15 years. What Bumpy didn't know was that Catherine Morrison had no idea what her father did for a living. Over the next 3 months, Catherine and Bumpy developed an unlikely friendship. She would ask him about Harlem, about the community, about life outside her privileged bubble. He would tell her stories, carefully edited versions. Catherine was intelligent, curious, and genuinely cared about the people she met. She wasn't slumming or looking for thrills. She wanted to make a difference. And slowly, Bumpy found himself looking forward to their conversations. "Why do you help here?" Catherine asked him one afternoon. "Because someone has to," Bumpy replied. "The city don't care about these kids. The government don't care. So we take care of ourselves. People like me. People who understand that sometimes the legal way ain't the only way to get justice." The friendship became something more. On a rainy Thursday in April, Catherine had been working late at the center. When she finished, it was dark outside and pouring rain. "Miss Morrison," Bumpy said, appearing in the doorway. "You need a ride home?" Bumpy's car was a pristine 1952 Cadillac. As they drove through Harlem, Catherine watched the neighborhood through new eyes. "It's beautiful," she said softly. "Harlem. At night like this, all the lights, the people, it feels alive." Bumpy glanced at her. Most white people saw Harlem as dangerous, dirty. Catherine saw life, community, beauty. "Your father know you spend time up here?" Bumpy asked. Catherine was quiet. "My father and I don't discuss my volunteer work." "What does your father do?" "He's a judge, federal court. He handles criminal cases mostly." Bumpy pulled the car over and turned to look at Catherine. "Catherine, what's your father's full name?" "William Morrison." "Why?" "Judge William Morrison, the man who'd sentenced half his associates. The man who'd called Bumpy a cancer on society in open court." "Nothing," Bumpy said finally. "Just curious." But everything had changed. From that night forward, Bumpy tried to distance himself from Catherine. He stopped coming to the community center when she was there. Catherine noticed immediately. "Have I done something wrong?" she asked him directly one day. "No, you ain't done nothing wrong." "Then why are you avoiding me?" "Because your father and me, we ain't exactly friends," Bumpy said finally. My father doesn't even know you. He knows me better than you think. Catherine stepped closer. I don't care what my father thinks. I care what I think. And what do you think? I think I'm falling in love with you. The words hung in the air between them. In 1954, what Catherine had just said wasn't just scandalous, it was dangerous. Catherine, Bumpy said softly, you don't understand what you're saying. I understand perfectly. I'm saying I love you, and I think you love me too. She was right. Bumpy did love her. This intelligent, compassionate woman who saw past his reputation to the man underneath. Your father's a federal judge, Bumpy said. I'm a black man who runs numbers in Harlem. You think about what that means. I don't care about any of that, Catherine said passionately. You will when your father disowns you. You will when society turns its back on you. But Catherine Morrison had inherited her father's stubbornness. For the next 2 months, Catherine pursued Bumpy relentlessly. She showed up at his legitimate businesses. She sent him thoughtful gifts. She wrote him letters that moved him despite himself. And slowly Bumpy's resistance broke down. They began meeting secretly. Dinner at quiet restaurants. Long drives through the countryside where they could talk without fear. Catherine was different from any woman Bumpy had ever known. She challenged him intellectually, made him laugh, saw possibilities for his life that he'd never considered. Marry me, Catherine said one evening as they sat overlooking the Hudson River. Bumpy turned to stare at her. What did you just say? Marry me. I love you. You love me. We're good together. Catherine, your father would have me killed. My father doesn't control my life. Your father is federal Judge William Morrison, Bumpy said firmly. The man who sentenced Tommy Chen to 20 years. The man who called me a menace to society. Catherine went very still. What? Your father knows exactly who I am. And what I am. For the first time, Bumpy told her the truth. All of it. The numbers running. The protection rackets. The violence when necessary. Catherine listened in silence. When he finished, she was quiet for a long time. Do you hurt innocent people? She asked finally. No. Do you help your community? Yes. Do you have honor, even when you break the law? I try to, Catherine nodded. Then I still want to marry you. Your father will never accept it. Then I'll make him accept it. Which brought them to this moment. June 12, 1954. The Rainbow Room. Catherine Morrison telling her father she wanted to marry the most wanted black man in New York. Judge Morrison set down his fork and looked around the restaurant. We're going home, he said quietly. Now. The ride home was silent. Judge Morrison's knuckles were white on the steering wheel. At home, Judge Morrison poured himself a scotch and turned to face his daughter. You will never see that man again, he said. You can't control who I love, Catherine replied. I can and I will. That man is a criminal, a gangster. He's dangerous. He's a good man who takes care of his community when nobody else will. Judge Morrison laughed bitterly. A good man, Catherine? I've sent dozens of his associates to prison. He runs illegal gambling. He's involved in violence. He funds the community center where I volunteer. He pays for children's medical bills. He helps families when they can't pay rent. Where's the government help, Daddy? The law. The law doesn't work for them, Catherine interrupted. And you know it. Judge Morrison stared at his daughter. He's turned you against me. No, Daddy. You've turned me against you. By refusing to see that maybe the world isn't as black and white as your courtroom. This ends now, Judge Morrison said firmly. You will not see him again. If you do, I'll have him arrested. On what charges? I'll find charges. Catherine looked at her father with new eyes. You'd frame an innocent man. He's not innocent. You'd frame him to keep us apart? Judge Morrison was quiet for a long moment. Yes. That night, Catherine packed a bag and left her father's house. She moved to a small apartment near the community center and sent word to Bumpy. They met at their usual spot by the river. I told him, Catherine said. I figured. You look like you've been through a war. He threatened to have you arrested. Bumpy nodded. That's about what I expected. I left. I left his house. I'm not going back. Bumpy took her hands. Catherine, you don't understand what you're giving up. I understand perfectly. I'm giving up a life that was never really mine for a life that could be ours. Your father has the power to destroy me, only if we let him." Bumpy studied this remarkable woman who was willing to give up everything for him. "You sure about this?" "I've never been more sure of anything in my life." "Then we do this right," Bumpy said. "No sneaking around, no hiding. We get married, proper ceremony, and let the world deal with it." Catherine smiled. "When?" "Saturday. This Saturday. The longer we wait, the more time your father has to make problems." Catherine Morrison and Bumpy Johnson were married on Saturday, June 19th, 1954, at the Abyssinian Baptist Church in Harlem. 500 people attended. The ceremony made front-page news in every paper in New York. Judge Morrison did not attend. The marriage lasted 6 months, not because they didn't love each other, but because the pressure was too much. Death threats, social isolation. Catherine lost her teaching job. Bumpy's enemies tried to use Catherine to get to him. In December 1954, Catherine moved to California. The marriage was quietly annulled. But for 6 months, love had triumphed over everything the world threw at them. And sometimes, 6 months of real love is worth more than a lifetime of safe choices. Judge Morrison retired early. He never spoke his daughter's name again. Catherine became a civil rights lawyer in Los Angeles. She never married. And Bumpy Johnson kept a photo of her in his wallet until the day he died. If this story of forbidden love and the courage to choose your heart over society moved you, hit that subscribe button. Drop a like if you believe love is worth any risk. And comment below, would you choose love over family approval?